Good afternoon. Great. Oh, Idris, and then I'll.
Just going back to last week when there was a press conference and General Ryder was asked about reports about China setting up a spy base in Cuba, and he said, "We are not aware of China and Cuba developing any type of spy stations." Mm-hmm. And then was further asked, "Have you seen China set up any military base in Cuba?" He said, "Not that I'm aware of at this time." So was he not aware of what had happened in the Trump administration, or was it an attempt to mislead reporters?
It was certainly not an attempt to mislead reporters by any means. And General Ryder, I believe what he was referring to was the reporting that had come out that day, the Wall Street Journal story that had outlined and I'm paraphrasing here, but the idea that China was setting up a type of base near Cuba, a new one. As we've said from the podium many times, you've heard the secretary say this many times, it's no secret that the PRC wants to set up further infrastructure in the Western Hemisphere and to expand their capabilities. I mean, just recently, earlier this year, we were talking about a Chinese spy balloon. So it's not a secret that they want to expand their capabilities here, but in no means was General Ryder trying to mislead in any way. He was directly referring to the Wall Street Journal report that had come out earlier that afternoon or morning.
The specific question was, have you seen China set up any military bases in Cuba? And he said, not that I'm aware of at this time. And I'm just curious, was it something that... I guess what I'm getting at is, did the White House direct the Pentagon to say what it said on June 8th?
No, I mean, we of course coordinate with the White House when we saw the report, and this is something that happens pretty naturally whenever there's reporting on very sensitive intelligence in a story. It's all the interagencies, they work together and coordinate on how best to approach it. This is very sensitive intelligence. You saw at the podium yesterday, John Kirby addressed this in great detail. At the time when the story broke, the White House, we were able to provide what we could, and as we were able to declassify more information, we provided that.
Last one. Mm-hmm. Why not just say we don't comment on intelligence rather than saying, no, we're not aware of any bases in Cuba?
I think, again, what General Ryder was referring to on that was, I believe, the actual story itself, not just a blanket statement. I understand how when you read it back, it could look like that. But again, this was something that he was, and I believe the question, and I'd have to go back and check the transcript, was about the reporting itself. Okay, Laura.
I want to follow up on Idris's question,
sure.
And I want to just read from the DoD's transcript what was said during the briefing. The question was, have you seen China set up any military base in Cuba, or is there any plans afoot for seeing elsewhere in the region that they have? General Ryder says, none that I'm aware of at this time. So my question is it a concern that DoD intentionally or not did provide wrong information from this podium to reporters and to the public, and what is being done to make sure that doesn't happen again?
So I would say that in terms of our relationship with the press, we certainly value this relationship. We believe in being transparent. We certainly believe in being able to provide you the information that we have when we can, if we can. And I think that doesn't just go for DoD. I think you heard the White House speak to that yesterday as well. You heard General Ryder say at the time, I'm sorry, I'm like paraphrasing here, but I believe when he was, and I know from speaking with him, what he was referring to was the report itself, like the Wall Street Journal story. I don't think there was any intention by any means to mislead from this podium or from this building. And again, we work really, really hard to try and provide you with the information that we can. And of course, if we get something wrong, we will certainly correct that. And I think you've seen me do that with you and other reporters here. We make mistakes, absolutely, but we will certainly take accountability for that. And I know that what General Ryder was again referring to and was speaking to was the actual Wall Street Journal story that came out that morning or afternoon.
So did he give wrong information, or did he not do that?
Well, I think you saw on the story. I don't think he was giving the wrong information. I think you saw the White House speak to that yesterday. I think there are points that were what's the right word? Being conflated within the story that were further clarified that you saw at the podium yesterday at the White House. And I will just leave it at that.